Now, pressure is increasing on EU countries to do more on immigration. The bloc agreed a pact in the spring to strengthen border controls, but several member countries have also felt the need to do more themselves. Italy's made a deal with Albania to process asylum claims, and the French government is about to start a review of its immigration policy. The journalist Jamie Smith-Maillet reports from France.
The most challenging part is to get here. Well, some of them came by the sea, some of them came by land, like Turkey, Greece, and all those kind of countries. And so, or the others came from Libya to Lampedusa, for example, most of them. And more and more people are talking about it. More and more political groups are including it in their general politics.
A story told many times over. Yusuf, who travelled from Syria via a study route to France, told me about friends and acquaintances who made the challenging journey to the continent via illegal routes. The it, he mentions, increasingly in public and political discourse: immigration. France's newly appointed Minister for the Interior, Bruno Retailleau, has made immigration a key policy area, vowing to restore order, a move critics on the left have suggested as a shift to the right and bowing to pressure of the far-right party, the National Rally. Retailleau has promised a new immigration policy in 2025. He has suggested exploring the possibility of processing asylum seeker claims in a third country. The so-called offshoring model has been inspired by a deal struck between neighbouring Italy and Albania.
Here would be Italian operation on Albanian territory, and those who are granted refugee would be moved to Italy. The agreement here creates, if you want, an Italian jurisdictional enclave in Albanian territory.
Luigi Achilli is a senior researcher at the Migration Policy Centre of the European Institute in Florence. He tells me of the challenges Meloni's model is facing.
Well, the first one is legal. You are not overtly violating refugee law. But still, you're doing something that is not entirely feasible because there are legal and practical problems with allowing individuals to apply asylum outside the EU. And then there are also practical issues. This is already extremely expensive as it is. And apart from that, what about the repatriation? Now, we all know that repatriation doesn't really work because the states don't have normally bilateral agreements with the country of origin of these migrants or asylum seekers.
An Italian court ruled last week that the asylum seekers held in the new Albanian hub had to be transferred to Italy, believing they were at risk of violence in their home countries. Meloni's government is appealing the ruling. Despite the blow to her plans, the French MEP of the far-right National Rally, Fabrice Leggeri, said how there was still interest in pushing for such measures.
We are, flooded by illegal migration. So our approach is that people in need of international protection should be allowed to lodge an asylum application out of the European Union. One advantage is, first of all, that we would avoid migrants or potential refugees to be victims of traffickers. The advantage for us is that we would really keep our external border safe.
At an EU level, the Asylum and Migration Pact, passed in the spring, aims to solidify the EU's external borders. But the bloc is under pressure from certain member states to go even further. Silvia Carta is an advocacy officer for the organisation PICUM, the Platform for International Cooperation for Undocumented Migrants. She told me how the trend towards externalising asylum processing was alarming.
What we see for sure, and it's not a novelty because the UK-Rwanda deal was also a very similar model, is that these new projects, these new ways of externalising either asylum or return are generally very costly because they require investment in infrastructure. And then, of course, also human suffering, which is the most concerning issue of them all, because we see that people are deported without the sufficient safeguards that should be granted under international law. And we see that this is all a political move to try to have a deterrence effect, but that actually has not proven to be efficient, but has also not been proven as in compliance with human rights standards.
Photo, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Miel.
Miel.
Back in France, a group of migrants and asylum seekers learning French at Entraide et Solidarité, an association in the region supporting deprived groups in society. Their joint director, Nathalie Dreno, told me about the profiles of migrants the centre welcomed.
We welcome 79 different nationalities, including a large number of Afghan citizens, a number of Guineans, Pakistanis. They fled their countries, notably from Afghanistan because their country is at war. They are really great people. They want to be a part of French society, to learn the French language. We can have doctors as well as farmers, all origins.
And beyond the discussion at political levels on defining asylum policy, she told me how there are other possibilities in terms of welcoming migrants into the country not yet explored enough, she believes.
What these migrants are wanting is to be able to work, for their children to go to school, to have a home and to find their place in French society. It's a shame we see a lot of talented people arrive with different careers, for instance in the world of the arts, who we don't know how to welcome, how to integrate. There's currently a lack of doctors in rural areas in France. There are doctors here among our migrants, except they don't have the papers.
That's the journalist Jamie Smith-Maillet reporting there.